Hey guys, this is Zoltan Bolthary from Five Finger Death Punch. Originally I'm Hungarian actually. I grew up in a time when, it was a communist country and communism tried to equalize people, The idea was that there were no poor, no rich, nothing could stick out, sort of. You imagine when you're in circumstances that your surrounding says it's impossible for you to break out and this is it, and you're beaten down into a system where, your life is projected to you. This is what you're gonna be, this is how much you can achieve, and that's it. And you can't get out of there. So since I was a kid, I was, rebelling against that, and actually through music, was sort of a way to do that. I was listening to a lot of punk music, then heavy metal, and it was kind of like an outlet for that rebellion. That was our vehicle, so to speak, to give the well-deserved double middle finger to that, to that system. I started to play music very early, but Hungary was not not a country that supported the kind of music I was listening to. So buying a guitar for me was an undertaking, So imagine an average person makes, I don't know, $50, $100 a month. So you can imagine for a kid to collect money for a decent guitar was pretty much near impossible. I had a second-hand guitar that I ripped out the body, and I took a coffee table and a jigsaw, and I made my own unplayable guitar out of that. But yeah, it's about I was about 5, 13, somewhere around there, But literally, I had to make my first instrument, and it was pretty impossible. It did develop an interesting thing though, because it was so difficult and such an undertaking to get an instrument. You really had to. Really have to believe in the dream, and you really had to work for it, and you really had to have the determination of wanting to be a musician.
What you fear most, what you need.
If you have excuses, if you always approach things from, well, I don't have this or that, no, you're not gonna get there. Simple as that. If I had the excuse like, well, hey man, I can't get a guitar, so I guess I'm not gonna be a musician, I didn't accept that. So I said, I'll make my own guitar, you know what I mean? You just have to, get the shovel and start digging. So it started with, we recorded an album. The first record is a gold record today, but I recorded the guitars, every single note, in my living room, And we only went to the studio for the drums and the vocals, and then we started to upload some songs, and we started to have a buzz, and that's when the record labels started to come. That's when they were looking at charts, and it's like, okay, the #1 downloaded band on MySpace is Five Finger Death Punch. Who the f*** is this band? So we recorded this album and they gave it to them. Like, hey, you see, this is our album. It's all done. Don't give us any money. Just give us, tour support. We want to go on tour. It was the same time when the first Mayhem Festival was starting out, 2008. Our record came out in the summer of 2007. It was the first Mayhem, and it was our first big exposure to larger crowds. We had crowds of 10,000 people in a parking lot. Every city as we went, the crowd front of the second stage just doubled, and it was just getting bigger and bigger, and the buzz started, and all of a sudden the whole thing just blew wide open, and that's how it started.